Hey everyone, my name is Andre, and I am a huge fan of hip-hop music. It is one of my biggest passions, and it was very nearly the main topic for this channel. As I've continued to explore history on this platform and make it my professional focus, I've thought a lot less about hip-hop as I used to, and quite honestly would like to. I've always been fascinated in the intersection between the two. Rap is an inherently political genre, whose songs often address issues of poverty and being black in America. Hip-hop lends itself to complex political messages both because of its subject matter and the sheer density of its lyrics. Consequently, the genre features countless references to American presidents. My initial interest in both subjects was due to my obsession with Hamilton, an American musical, which tells the story of America's $10 founding father without a father, Alexander Hamilton, through hip-hop. The show's creator, Lin-Manuel Miranda, will tell you that Hamilton's rags to riches story, in which the scrappy young immigrant achieved greatness through the written word, is one well suited for hip-hop. My greatest interest in any medium is always in its characters, and I find these kinds of rags to riches stories incredibly compelling. Maybe that's why I find these two seemingly distinct disciplines to not only be captivating, but deeply similar. So in this video, we're going to take a look at how rap song references to a given president inform us on their character and popular perception, while also observing what they say about a given artist. In Mac Dre's track, What You Like, he raps, "Others that was rocking is forgotten like Jimmy Carter," which, unfortunately for President Carter, is very reflective of his reputation among most Americans. Also telling is Lil Wayne's 2011 track, President Carter, which has nothing really to do with the happy-go-lucky peanut farmer, and instead just plays a sample of a news report saying repeatedly, "President Carter, President Carter, President Carter, President Carter," in reference to Wayne's own last name being Carter. On JID's 2017 song Off the Zoinks, he raps, "Ronald Reagan, I can't think I'm enough, nah I'm playing nigga racist fuck." In contrast, the song ends with a conversation between JID and an older man where the older man calls Reagan a criminal and says that's why he died much earlier, as opposed to Jimmy Carter, who they call a good person and is still around to this day at age 99. The image that we get from these lyrics is of Carter as a good, decent man who had a lackluster, if forgettable, presidency. Believe it or not, Ronald Reagan is not very popular in hip-hop spaces. In fact, I would say he is probably the most criticized president in all of hip-hop music. Killer Mike, who would later serve as a campaign surrogate on Bernie Sanders' 2020 presidential run, has an entire song called Reagan. "I'm dropping off the grid before they pump the lead. I leave you with 4 words. I'm glad Reagan dead." This and many other hip-hop songs that mention Reagan focus on his involvement in the Iran-Contra scandal, which, while we do not have time to cover in depth in today's videos, connected the federal government to the import of crack cocaine into the United States. Despite the credibility of the song's main claim, it has some very conspiratorial parts, talking about the real leaders that control our presidents. Another core theme of hip-hop music is lust and sexuality, which we see on full display in lyrics about Bill Clinton, in particular pertaining to his relationship with Monica Lewinsky. There is a ridiculous amount of rap songs that reference Monica Lewinsky. I was able to find a 2015 article by The Cut that claims to list all of these songs, and I'm gonna have it playing next to my head right now, and as you can see, this is a pretty long song. This is a pretty long list. It takes a minute to go by. Lewinsky herself has rap song muse in her Twitter bio. Given the nature of these songs, I will refrain from showing specific lyrics, but you are more than welcome to go find them for yourself. A lot of references to this relationship have aged very badly in my opinion, largely due to the cultural shift in perception regarding the power dynamics in a relationship between the 49-year-old leader of the free world and his 22-year-old intern. I've always been fascinated with the paradox that is Bill Clinton. His remarkable political talent and intellect paired with his total lack of personal discipline, the latter of which caused unprecedented personal scandals during his presidency. On the track King Kunta off of his 2015 masterpiece To Pimp a Butterfly, Kendrick Lamar uses the word yams to signify temptations. The yam brought it out of Richard Pryor. Manipulated Bill Clinton with desires. This feeds into a large part of Clinton's legacy as a gifted politician who just couldn't help himself.
I love this guy right here. Let me give this guy a hug right here. I love this guy right here. Yeah.
Come here.
Kanye West is no stranger to politics, or to this channel for that matter. He has had major interactions with every American president since George W. Bush, and even ran against the last two presidents in 2020. Kanye's political exploits deserve a video of their own. During a 2005 fundraiser for victims of Hurricane Katrina, Kanye famously said,
George Bush doesn't care about black people. Please call.
which Bush somehow had the courage to call the worst moment of his presidency.
Remember what he said?
Yes, I do. He called me a racist.
Well, what he said was George Bush doesn't care about black people.
That says he's a racist. And I didn't appreciate it then, and I don't appreciate it now. It's one thing to say, I don't appreciate the way he's handled his business. It's another thing to say this man's a racist. I resent it. It's not true. And it was one of the most disgusting moments of my presidency.
This is from the book. I faced a lot of criticism as president. I didn't like hearing people claim that I lied about Iraq's weapons of mass destruction or cut taxes to benefit the rich. But the suggestion that I was racist because of the response to Katrina represented an all-time low.
Yeah, still feel that way as you read those words. Felt them when I heard them, felt them when I wrote them, and I felt them when I'm listening to them.
You say you told Laura at the time it was the worst moment of your presidency.
Yeah.
I wonder if some people are going to read that and they might give you some heat for that. And the reason is this.
I don't care.
Well, here's the reason. You're not saying that the worst moment in your presidency was watching the misery in Louisiana. You're saying it was when someone insulted you because of it.
And I also make it clear that the misery in Louisiana affected me deeply as well.
Unlike the other lyrics featured in this video, Kanye's words don't say as much about the presidents they're referencing as they do about Kanye himself. As someone who deeply loves Kanye's music and that has an entire video about my complex relationship with him as a figure up on this channel, I think they are certainly still worth mentioning. People talk about missing the old Kanye, but in reality, the George Bush incident showcases the same brash, contrarian aspects of his personality that are so apparent in his recent political exploits. Kanye is a person with extreme self-confidence, even when no one else believes in him, and he's performing one of the most incredible songs I've ever heard before he was famous to anyone in the record building that would listen.
He had hair so long that it looked like weed, and she cut it all off, now she look like E, and she be dealing with some issues that you can't believe. Single black female addicted to retail, and well.
This is the same Kanye that when making deeply ignorant, hateful, bigoted statements won't listen to the entire world tell him that he's wrong.
That's right. You're not Hitler. You're not a Nazi. You don't deserve to be called that and demonized.
Well, I see good things about Hitler also.
Really? In a particularly poorly aged lyric, he said,
2020, I'ma run the whole election.
He even had some pretty choice words for Donald Trump before switching up on him later on.
I'm so appalled, spalled and bald, and Donald Trump taking dollars from y'all.
Following Kanye's vocal support of Trump, among other shenanigans, he dropped a track going back and forth with T.I. over his support of the 45th president called Ye versus the People, where he opens by saying,
I know Obama was 7 cents, but ever since Trump won, it proved that I could be president.
This sudden love for the Republican Party, or I guess just Trump himself, was a pretty big tonal shift for Kanye. On the 2011 Watch the Throne song New Day, Kanye had said,
and I'll never let my son have an ego. You'll be nice to everyone wherever we go. I mean, I might even make him be Republican, so everybody know he love white people.
Which is just the most Kanye thing ever to say.
The young lady seems like a perfectly nice person. She's getting her award. What's he doing?
Why would he do that?
He's a jackass.
As America's first black president, Barack Obama was always going to occupy a prominent place in hip-hop music. But beyond that, Obama made the conscious decision to overtly embrace rap, discuss it, and engage with it in ways that other potential first black presidents might not have. On his wonderful song Neighbors, J. Cole raps,
I don't want no picture with the president, I just want to talk to the man. Speak for the boys in the bando, and my nigga never walking again.
He actually got that White House meeting, and in keeping with his statement, didn't go out of his way to take a selfie with the president. The only two pictures that exist from that meeting is a selfie that was taken by someone else and this photo of him walking out of the White House. As you can see, he showed up in a pretty bummy looking outfit, which if you don't know anything about hip hop is sort of a running joke with J. Cole. because he's just so humble. Another rapper who was at that meeting is Pusha T, who leaves nothing to the imagination about his previous career path.
It was snowfall and Reagan gave me the visual. Obama opened his doors knowing I was a criminal.
Oh, there's no way to make this video without mentioning Eminem.
I was painfully shy, now I'm proud of myself. Like Obama's kids, I came out of my shell.
Take a look at this old clip of Obama weighing in on Kendrick versus Drake long before any discussion of PDF files.
If Drake and Kendrick Lamar got in a rap battle, who do you think would win?
Got to go with Kendrick. I'm just saying. I think Drake is an outstanding entertainer, but Kendrick, his lyrics, his last album was outstanding.
Excellent, all right.
Best album, I think, last year.
Donald Trump has been surprisingly receptive to hip-hop, or at least to the celebrity of hip-hop artists. Trump was, of course, a celebrity himself for many years prior to his political career, where he cultivated this persona as a wealthy, brash figure that made him easy symbolism for money and success. The most famous example of this is probably Mac Miller's song, aptly titled Donald Trump, which features the chorus,
Take over the world when I'm on my Donald Trump shit. Look at all this money, ain't that some shit?
This led to a weird Trump endorsement of the song, followed by him bizarrely asking for royalties, and eventually a Twitter beef where he called Mac Miller Little Mac Miller.
A lot of people are calling me about the Mac Miller rap song. Now, it's named Donald Trump. Maybe you should pay me a lot of money, but it just hit over 20 million people tuning in to Mac Miller. So in one way, I'm proud of him. I haven't actually seen the language. It's a little bit hard to understand on the song itself. Probably it's not the cleanest language we've ever heard, but this kid is the new Eminem. Everybody says he's fantastic. And let's see what it is.
As president, Trump issued pardons to both Kodak Black and Lil Wayne, who each supported him in his 2020 re-election campaign. Take a look at this hilarious Trump rally featuring Lil Pump, where Trump actually refers to him as Little Pimp.
And speaking of sound, music, and other things, one of the big superstars of the world, Little Pimp.
MAGA 2020. Don't forget that!
Despite this surprising love between Trump and certain hip-hop artists, most contemporary lines about the 45th president are disparaging. Despite all of the talk of conservatives being annoyed with liberal celebrities weighing in on politics, I get the impression that this is mainly just because of their ideology. Whenever a celebrity has conservative leanings or endorses Trump in some way, they're usually embraced by the party. Just look at Amber Rose speaking at the Republican National Convention and think about how absolutely insane that is. Just off the top of my head, I couldn't think of any overt mention to Joe Biden in a rap song, but apparently they do exist. Though a lot of them seem to come as Biden's time as vice president to Barack Obama, often referencing their friendship. The most overtly political reference to the Biden administration I could find came in Macklemore's pro-Palestine anthem, Heinz Hull.
Blood is on your hands, Biden, we can see it all, and fuck no, I'm not voting for you in the fall.
For any of my fellow hip-hop and history fans, I'm curious to hear if you guys find any common connection between the two, or if they're just two interests that you like to keep distinctly separate. For anyone that's just a fan of either history or hip-hop, I would especially like to hear your thoughts in this video. I would absolutely love to be able to talk about hip-hop more on this channel, so if anyone has any ideas, shoot them my way. As you might have noticed, I have a new camera, I got lights, I got a new background, I'm doing all sorts of new stuff to try to improve the quality of the videos, so if you enjoy, please consider leaving a like, subscribing, commenting down below, or even supporting on the Patreon. $5, $10, $20 a month, whatever you can do is really appreciated. You can also do a channel membership if that's more your thing. I appreciate every single one of you that watches this channel. Can't say how grateful I am enough to you guys because you make all of this possible. Thank you for hearing my ramblings and my associations of hip-hop and history. So,